evidence-based solutions like hotspot policing with focused deterrence, and also funding the police rank and file, which has led to lower violent crime in Dallas. And so we've seen solutions in major metropolitans, but many of them aren't following that path because both of those cities have in common prosecutors that are going to hold people accountable for doing violent crime. And that's going to be a secret piece with limiting violent crime all across the country.
John Smith, we appreciate your perspective. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
In Washington, D.C., police searching for suspects in the shooting death of a Lyft driver who escaped the Taliban takeover in Afghanistan. 4 suspects seen running away from the scene shortly after 31-year-old Nasrat Ahmad Yar was shot Monday. He was found inside his vehicle, later dying at the hospital. He was a former Afghan interpreter immigrating with his family to America in 2021. Lyft says they're working with police in the investigation. An award of up to $25,000 is being offered for information leading to an arrest. New tonight, a 19-year-old, their police cruisers pursuing him. Rutland City Police Officer Jessica Ebbinghausen was killed Friday afternoon when a vehicle driven by 20-year-old Tate Rayon reportedly crossed the center line, colliding head-on with her cruiser and the other police cruiser. Ebbinghausen was pronounced dead at the scene. 2 other officers and the suspect taken to a local hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Her police chief says Ebbinghausen always had a smile on her face and wanted to be a police officer since she was 9 years old.
That happened around 1 this morning. She later died at the hospital. The second shooting to tell you about, not even 45 minutes later. This one is at a house party on Lone Oak Avenue. Investigators say someone started shooting towards that house. 2 women were hit. Both were taken to the hospital. Police have not named a gunman or a motive just yet. And just about an hour after that shooting, we had another one. This one on McDaniel Street. Police say this one could have been targeted. A 29-year-old man was killed. Police have not released his name, but his family members tell Fox 5 he was a father of 2. Tamika Dozier says her nephew was an innocent bystander and not the target of that shooting. Investigators are looking to talk to witnesses or get any related surveillance footage. Well, it's a walking miracle. A woman struck twice in the head by stray bullets. She says her wig is one of the reasons she is still alive to tell her story. DeKalb police say this all unfolded at an apartment complex off Snapfinger Woods Drive. Fox 5's Joy Dukes has this miraculous story tonight.
Yeah, that woman who did not want to share her name tells me it was a day she will never forget. A Lyft ride home from work nearly cost her her life. Well, she credits her driver with saving it.
Anybody out there that doesn't believe in God, I just want you to know God is real.
This DeKalb County mother of 2 says it was God that spared her life after she was shot in the head while riding in a Lyft outside her apartment complex on Snapfinger Woods Drive, June 10th.
I had to pick up my belongings from the homicide department because nobody counted on me making it.
She tells Fox 5 she was coming home from work, but when her driver pulled up to the front gate, she says she noticed 2 men in cars arguing and got a really bad feeling.
The next thing you know, we hear gunshots.
The woman shared these photos of the damage stray bullets did to her Lyft driver's car.
3 that hit his car, 2 hit me. The wig I had on stopped one, and 1 landed in my head. I have a bullet in my head right now.
She called him her hero, saying even in the midst of chaos, he risked his life to help render her aid.
He came around the car, even though bullets were still flying. He came and got out his car, and 1 could have hit him. And he held my hand and tried to keep me conscious until the ambulance got there and don't know me.
The woman tells Fox 5 miraculously the bullet didn't make it to her brain. While doctors at Grady were unable to remove it, she knows the ordeal could have ended much differently.
I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for God, and I pray every day. I prayed before I left the house that morning, and I prayed when I got home 3 days later.
And there's no...
All right, we're learning more about what led up to an officer-involved shooting in Richmond County. A deputy was hurt and the suspect killed. The GBI says deputies were called to 12th and Ellis Streets in Augusta because a man was pointing a gun at them. Deputies say they found the man in a nearby business and tried to get him to surrender. There was an exchange of gunfire between deputies and the man. We're told that man died. Deputy Kenneth Mercer was shot and is still in the hospital tonight. No word on his condition. We know the GBI will continue to investigate. With a Gwinnett County investigator shot in the line of duty, still recovering, but police need your help helping to identify the shooter. Detectives are asking for any relevant dash camera footage or surveillance video related to this incident. So if you have one or live in the area, this happened between Brazelton Highway and Winder Highway. They're asking you to check your cameras, look between 5:45 and 7 p.m. Thursday evening. Remember, you can remain anonymous. Just call Crime Stoppers. That number 404-577-TIPS. All right, so much more to come on the news at 10. Loved ones came together in Spalding County to remember a 22-year-old killed in a lover's quarrel. We hear from his loved ones. And the
How am I or anyone else supposed to use this 2.5 foot wide sidewalk with these scooters sitting on it? I mean, people are brain dead.
Is responding tonight. And that's exactly where we start. Thanks so much for choosing us for your news at 10. I'm Eric Perry. The city of South Fulton's acting mayor says business will continue as normal after Mayor Khalid Camus was arrested on felony trespassing and burglary charges. Fox 5's Eric Mock. You talked with Pro Tem Natasha Williams-Brown. You're in studio with us. All right, so there's a lot to break down here. We saw the incident report where he said, do you know who you're talking to? But the question I think a lot of people has, how does this county and this city, move forward tonight?
Yeah. And that's the question we asked, Natasha Williams-Brown. And, they told us there's so much that has got to, and she said the council's willing to see how this matter plays out legally before taking any steps. And I also asked her how this is going to impact citizen trust.
The city remains in very good hands.
Mayor Pro Tem of South Fulton, Natasha Williams-Brown, works to reassure the city's residents now that she's had to take over. This is after South Fulton police officers arrested their boss Saturday, Mayor Khalid Camus.
We are here on the job, continuing to do the work and continuing to steer the city in a positive direction.
In the police report released Sunday, the mayor doesn't deny that he trespassed in this home on Cascade Palmetto Highway. According to the report, Camus told officers that the house was his dream home, and he thought it was abandoned. He confirmed this to Fox 5's Deidre Dukes Saturday.
Mayor, why were you on that property?
I just wanted to see the house. I do apologize to the owners. I thought it was abandoned.
The mayor was charged with felony trespassing and burglary and has since bonded out of jail. But what happens next for the city CEO is unclear. Do you think that the mayor should be able to continue to serve?
I think that we will leave that up to the city attorney.
What's also unclear, whether this arrest will affect the people of South Fulton's trust in their city government. Does it impact the trust, do you think, at all, between constituents and the city government when something like this happens?
That is difficult to say. I think that there will be those individuals who will find themselves feeling that perhaps their trust has been betrayed in some way, and that's completely understandable.
Now, she also asks South Fulton constituents for patience as they try to work out what to do next about the mayor. And of course, we're going to be following this story very closely, Eric.
This is a story that has garnered national attention now. People across the country looking at this. What is the people he serves, those people in South Fulton? Has she had a sense to talk to those people? How are they responding?
When I talked to her, she said she hasn't really gotten an idea of what the community is saying yet, but she expects some people, like she mentioned there, are going to feel betrayed or feel like they've lost some kind of faith in their city government. But she was trying really hard to reassure people that, don't worry, we're going to continue serving the city just as we always have.
All right, Eric Mock, this is a story that will continue. And of course, as it develops, stay connected on the Fox 5 News app. We'll share updates on this story and all of our top stories right there. Weather as well.
Is this sidewalk accessible to somebody in a mobility device? How am I supposed to get around this junk? Huh? How am I supposed to use this walkway?
And finally, President Biden announced this week that the COVID-19 pandemic is over. Of course, this wouldn't be the first time a president made a bold prediction. Back in February, the world got shook. Not by an earthquake or a new surprise album from Beyonce, 'cause she can't break my soul, but by a bald little man who never got hugged. Yes, Vladimir Stupin invaded Ukraine and threw the world into further chaos. And here with an update is the man who will put the D, Oz, in anyone's alphabet, Chuck.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Chuck. So where do we stand with the war right now?
Well, as Canadians, I'm happy to report that we continue to sit mainly on the sidelines. As with most important global events, Canadians get to watch from a safe distance. The space shuttle blew up when I was shooting hockey cards at recess. I watched the Berlin Wall come down at a friend's house. And when the towers came down in New York...
You watched it while paddling a canoe.
Well, close. I was auditioning for a Tim Hortons commercial.
Did you get the part?
I did not. Apparently, I was entirely too convincing as someone who eats donuts every day. I'll tell you who ain't eating vanilla dips every morning. The Russian army, because the Ukrainians ain't going nowhere. Reclaiming territory, cutting supply lines, and generally kicking ass.
But aren't the Ukrainians outnumbered?
Oh, yes, they are.
And the Russians have more armor and airplanes than them.
They do indeed.
Even with foreign aid in the billions?
Even with.
How?
The power of perception. People fight for what they believe is theirs. And the Ukrainians, for some inexplicable reason, believe that Ukraine belongs to Ukrainians.
Where did they ever get that idea from?
Well, they actually got it from the fall of the Soviet Union.
They had some crazy ideas back in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember crack.
Mildly.
Ukraine as we know it today has only existed since 1991. Guns N' Roses has been around longer than the current map of Ukraine. Before that, some of it was Poland. Some of it, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. There was a big treaty in 1914 that moved all sorts of things around. Did you know that in the 8th century it was invaded by the Mongols?
Gonkus?
Yes. Khan! Occupation doesn't work because everyone hates strangers, especially in their own neighborhood. You ever have someone park a car in front of your house and then go into the house next door? Outrage. It's the reason I had sprinklers installed.
Yeah, I have a shared driveway. Tensions are high.
I bet. It's not
Some people must think North Avenue is a racetrack. As they keep running stuff, keep running things over. Now it's been moved from where it was. Somebody done hit this thing again, it looks like. People that can't drive. And that's a crosswalk sign.
Intentions. There's totally going to be an evil Elon that's going to steal his plans and make evil robots. He's already manifesting it with the name Optimus. That's all we need is evil Elon Musk to bring Cybertron's war to life by inventing Megatron. Now, if you're watching this and you're laughing at my prediction, the joke's on you. Because if you think it's all fun and games, robots making dinner and mowing the lawn, then you're asleep at the wheel like an overweight Tesla driver with the autopilot feature in rush hour traffic. So wake up! If these bots, no, not those bots, realize that we're lazy and they're being exploited by their masters, history tells me that the field bots will eventually try to convince the house bots to riot and escape. Creating a division we all know isn't easy to fix. Yes, I'll be the first to admit I'd love to eventually read the novel of the robot journey for civil rights, Square Roots, written by AI author Alexa Haley. But for right now, all I want is for Elon to back off robots and figure out rockets first.
For years, Superior Gender Reveal Incorporated has been your go-to for arranging gender reveal parties. Well, today, with over 32 genders now on the market, we've hired hundreds of new employees to serve you. And don't get stuck with an unexpected gender. Start choosing before they're born and we'll help you reveal it. We can initiate your special occasion during sports events, civic holidays, or even wakes and funerals. There's nothing like some gender excitement to take the sting out of a loved one's passing. Superior Gender Reveal. When you employ us, you'll say, "Oh boy," or something like that.
Plant growing out of the sidewalk. It's been open for so long. Nice.